Hey everyone, and happy Wednesday. Or as Chris liked to say, we'll know if it's happy Wednesday tomorrow after we've seen all the picks. But anyway, happy Wednesday so far, Chris. It's good to see you, buddy. And tonight we got some NBA action. We got a lot of stuff going on the hardwood, and we got baseball. So we got a little bit of everything for everybody today.
That's true. And for those of you that like afternoon baseball, there's plenty of it on. Like we said, there's 6 games going on at the moment. There was a 7th one that was scheduled, but the Royals and Cardinals rained out. They'll reschedule that for May 2nd when I guess St. Louis goes to Kansas City. But
so basically, it's not a good day to be in Missouri. It's rained there yesterday and rained there. It's been raining there for the past couple of days.
Yeah, but I mean, on the plus side, Steen went to go see Santana in concert last night, so I guess the weather wasn't all bad.
Well, good for him. He got to see Carlos Santana. That's really good. So
yeah, I was going to ask him if he was going to see Tito Santana and see if he played the greatest hits like against Greg the Hammer Valentine for the Intercontinental title.
That's a good.
Steen did not respond.
He did not respond. Okay, well enough. Well, you know what? Let's take a minute and tell people about one of our new sponsors and people that we really like, and they are, of course, DraftKings. Now, DraftKings has a promo for Max Wagers Network, winners and whiners, and, of course, our buddies at Picks and Parlays. And what are they going to do for us? Well, here it is. It's easy. Bet $5, win $200 in free bets. Make your first deposit of $5 on any Major League Baseball money line. Now, it's money line, okay? And win $200 in free bets. But here's the deal. You got to use our promo code. And our promo code, there it is. It's WAW, Winners and Whiners Video. Get all the information in our show box below, okay? And remember, you have to be 21 years of age to participate. And always, always, always bet responsibly, all right? Okay. So we got baseball, as you said. And let's jump to the big board where the Astros... Oops, that's hockey. My bad. Let's go back.
I bounced it back already.
Oh, you did? Okay. And there they are. There's the Astros. The Astros taking on the D-backs. And this game will be played in the desert.
Yeah, which was surprising. Yesterday was a low-scoring game between these two teams. The final score, I believe, was 2-1 as you saw Garcia and Madison Bumgarner take the mound in that contest. The winning run driven in by Michael Brantley in the top of the 9th. So it was a pitcher's duel all the way. Garcia threw 4 scoreless innings, gave up 2 hits. Bumgarner went 5, gave up a run on 5 hits. So it was the bullpen. And, imagine that the Diamondbacks go out and sign a closer. They get Mark Melancon, gave him a bunch of money. And he promptly came out and, lost the game in relief. Meanwhile, Hector Neris, who was a cast-off from the Phillies, threw a scoreless 8th to get the win. Ryan Presley picked up his 3rd save. But still, not a very high-scoring game. The Diamondbacks were 0 for 7 with runners in scoring position. The Astros were 1 for 9. Not what you normally expect from a game at Chase Field by any stretch of the imagination.
And you got 2 teams that can hit, too.
Yeah. Today you're going to see Framber Valdez, who's 1-0 with a 0 ERA and a .45 WHIP. He walked 1, fanned 6 in his first outing that covered 6 innings against the Angels. Meanwhile, Merrill Kelly has no record, has no earned run average, but he has a 1.50 WHIP, 2 walks and 7 strikeouts over 4 innings in his season debut for the Diamondbacks. We talked about the Astros led the league in runs per game last year. They were second on the road. The Diamondbacks struggled offensively last season. That probably is what happens when you win, 52 games?
Yes.
Houston 5-1 in their last 6 interleague games against teams with a losing record. They're 5-1 in their last 6 on the road. They're 13-4 in their last 17 against teams with a winning percentage below 400. Arizona does not like interleague games. 3-13 in their last 16 interleague games at home. And I guess they don't like playing at home at all. They're 0-4 as they've lost 4 straight at Chase Field after winning the season opener with that 9th inning comeback against the Padres where we lambasted San Diego for sticking a guy who was making his major league debut into the bullpen.
So, hey, Tim, good to see you there, buddy. Ryan, Bumgarner looked good, and the Nats are beating the Braves so far. Thanks, Ryan, for the update, and
Yeah,
hopefully,
2-0 in the sixth. Washington has runners on the corners.
how many outs?
One.
Okay.
So just wait for a double play and the inning will be over.
Yeah, double play's coming. All right.
Let me see. No, wait, there. Well, okay, who the heck is L. Thomas?
Who's who?
His name's Thomas. I'm not familiar with
He's
this
an
guy.
outfielder for the he came over in a trade with the Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
He's
So he's an ex-Cardinal. So that makes me like him even less.
Well,
Lane Thomas.
there you
Okay.
go.
Yeah, I'm
Max
familiar with him
Fried.
now.
Ryan says Max Fried just got taken out.
Josiah Gray has pitched well. He's only given up 1 hit in 5 innings, 3 walks, 5 strikeouts. I wonder how long Davey Martinez will hang with him after throwing 82 pitches to get through 5, though. Any thoughts on that, Jim? Well, Jim's freezing up. But, yeah, Josiah Gray, 82 pitches through 5 innings. Like Ryan said, Fried just got pulled. It's going to be Colin McHugh.
He came over in trade for the Dodgers for Scherzer.
Right.
He came over in the trade with the Dodgers for Scherzer, along with the catcher and
Ruiz.
That was the Trey Turner deal. Yeah. And he's actually, pitched a little bit last year, and this year's looked pretty good. 82 pitches. My guess is wait a minute. They're batting, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, 82 pitches. He may get. I don't know. I don't think he's going to get another inning. I don't think that Davey's going to go. They're in the 5th, right?
They're in the top of the 6th.
Top of the 6th. Okay. Yeah. He might put him out, but I don't know if he wants to stretch him out that far. Hey, Super Sly, good to see you, buddy.
Sly, are you over there? How's the weather over there in Winnipeg? Have you guys gotten bombed with all the snow yet? Since, the Jets don't get to play today because of the weather. I just wanted to see if there was anybody on hand to tell us how bad the weather is in Manitoba.
Well, at least he's got internet. That's good. So,
this is true.
Okay, so the Astros beat the Diamondbacks. We got that one. It's nasty, man. That's what he's saying. So let's move on from Houston, and now we get the Mariners and the White Sox in a game played on the South Side.
Yeah, the White Sox won yesterday 3-2. And an uninspiring game as Seattle's bats continue to struggle in the early going this season. The Mariners 2-3, the White Sox 3-1. They won their home opener yesterday. Vince Velasquez on the mound for the White Sox in that game. I try to make a living out of fading Vince Velasquez because he sucks, but he pitched well enough to keep the White Sox in it yesterday. Today, the reigning AL Cy Young winner, Robbie Ray, 1-0. He won his debut through 7 innings of 1-run ball. Has a whip of 1, 4 walks, and 5 strikeouts. He's going to face Dallas Keuchel, who hasn't pitched yet this season. He's 9-9 with a 5.23 earned run average, a 1.531 whip, 59 walks, and 95 strikeouts over 162 innings last year. And Jim, let me ask you, what happened to Dallas Keuchel? Remember, he was good for a while. He won the Cy Young in 2015 when he won 20 games. He won 14 games in 2017. And then he's kind of fallen off a cliff. He went 8-8 with Atlanta in 2019. He pitched well in the shortened season, but then, his ERA jumped over almost 3.5 runs between 2020 and 2021. Is Keuchel and his controlled junk washed up at this point?
I think so. I think Keuchel, he's no longer a guy that you can count on getting 5 or 6 innings out of. He used to be, a 200-inning guy. A lot of, he was one of those guys that you knew that you could put him out there every, 4th day or 5th day, and if nothing else, he'd give up a couple runs, but you'd be in the ball game when he left. That's not the case anymore. So unfortunately.
And to your point, he threw 232 innings in 2015 when he won the Cy Young. He's only gone over 168 once in the last 6 years, and that was 2018 when he threw 204 and 2/3 innings when he went 12-11.
Right.
And the White Sox need him right now because Lucas Giolito was placed on the injured list yesterday with an abdominal strain. He's going to miss a couple starts. A.J. Pollock is on the IL now with a hamstring injury.
Mm-hmm.
So now you're down to, Dylan Cease, and you've got Kopech. I don't know how stretched out he is. You've got Velasquez, who we've already talked about.
Right.
You got Reynaldo Lopez, who they can't decide whether they want to start him or pitch him out of the bullpen. And they've got Keuchel. I mean, they did sign Johnny Cueto to a minor league contract. I don't know if Cueto has anything left at this point either.
Well, if he ain't on the team, then he probably doesn't. Coming out, well, maybe they've got him down in Arizona just trying to stretch him out and see if he can throw.
That's true. But
Johnny Cueto has never been a good early season pitcher. He's not a cold weather pitcher at all. So maybe that's why he's not up there. Is cold weather is not a friend of Johnny Cueto's. But
he can't be any worse than Keuchel at this point, can he?
No, he cannot. No, not a chance on that one. So the M's have a good day. It'll be a good day for Dave Sims. So good on.
Yeah, I mean, if you look there, like we said, Seattle's 8-1 in their last 9 against lefties. I think that's what it was. Let me double check my screen here.
I can put it back. I'm sorry.
Oh, no, I got it. Yeah, 8-1 in their last 9 on the road against left-handed starters, or 7-1 in their last 8 against teams with a winning record. 14-3 in their last 17 when their opponent scores 2 runs or less. And the White Sox, they play well on openers in series, but they're just 3-7 in the second game of their last 10 series, dating back to last season. I know the Mariners are a slight underdog here. I just can't trust Keuchel, especially going against Ray.
Right.
You have to think the Mariners should be able to take advantage of Keuchel. Of course, I said yesterday they should have been able to take advantage of Velasquez, and they didn't.
Mm-hmm.
But you can always hope, right?
That's true. Unfortunately, Angel is not behind the plate there today, so he's in Atlanta on one of the bases. So that's you're not going to get any Angel Hernandez help in that regard. Before we get to the NHL, which we previewed accidentally when I hit the wrong button, let's talk about our friends at Caesars. Okay, now Caesars Sportsbook has a really cool deal for us, and it's called First Bet Insurance. Caesars Sportsbook gives you $1,100 in first bet insurance. You place a first-time wager of up to $1,100, start at 10, 20, whatever, and you get it back free in the form of a free bet if you happen to lose, okay? So it's called bet insurance, and that's a pretty good way of ensuring that at least the first time you bet, you're not going to lose. So the deal is you have to use our promo code, all right? And the promo code is scrolling right there by. It's ATSWINSCZR, okay? It's in the show box below. Check it out. Again, you must be 21 years of age to play. And also, as we said before, always wager responsibly. And now to the NHL with only 9 games left to go in the season. It's going to be a game out west with Colorado and the Kings.
Yeah, you got to feel bad for the Kings. You know, they played yesterday. They beat the Blackhawks. Now you get to go to the Ball Arena and face Colorado in the wet or up in the altitude. Not to mention the Avalanche have had 3 days off, and you're playing the second game of a back-to-back.
Mm-hmm.
The Kings have played well on the road this season, but they don't have Drew Doughty. He's done for the year after having wrist surgery, so take that part out of the equation on the blue line. Colorado is dominant on home ice. They're kind of like Florida in that regard, 28-4-3 at the Ball Arena this season. It's supposed to be Cal Peterson, 20-13-1 with a 279 goals against, an 899 save percentage, and 3 shutouts, starting against Darcy Kemper, 34-9-3 with a 237 goals against, a 926 save percentage, and 5 shutouts for the Avs. The big difference in this team between these two teams, offense. The Kings don't have a lot of it. They're 21st in goals for at 2.84. They're 11th in goals against at 2.83. So you're not talking about a big goal differential for them. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, the Avs, 3rd in goals for at 376. They're 7th in goals against at 274. They're 4-0 in their last 4 against teams with a winning record. They're 48-9 in their last 57 as a home favorite. They're 9-2 in their last 11 on at least 3 days of rest. Kings 1-6 in their last 7 after allowing 2 or less in their last game. They're 1-6 in their last 7 after a win. And those last 2 numbers tell you that the Kings don't match up well with the Avalanche. They've dropped the last 8 meetings between these teams. That includes matchups of, 4-1, I think it was.
Mm-hmm.
Double check. Yeah, 4-1 on January 20th. They lost 3-0 on March 15th. They're 0-4 in the last 4 meetings in Colorado. Now, on the plus side, the Kings are trying to hang in the playoff picture. If you look in the Pacific Division, they currently hold the 3-point lead over Vegas for the final guaranteed playoff spot. The Knights have 1 game in hand. It'll be 2 after tonight. Vancouver 6 points back of the Kings. They have 2 games in hand on Los Angeles as well. And then you've got the wild card picture in the West, where you've got Nashville has 89 points, Dallas has 88 points. So Vegas and Vancouver and Winnipeg chasing those 2 teams. The only good thing that you can say for the Kings is after this, their last 6 games on the schedule, they face teams that are not currently in playoff position. They have Columbus, they have Chicago again, they have Seattle, they have Vancouver, and they have the Ducks twice. So if they can get past this one and maybe steal a point or something, it can go a long way to helping them out. But you have to hope for them that they can make some hay against these non-contenders. But it's going to be rough sledding tonight against a very good Colorado team.
Yeah, and this game is the second game of the TNT hockey doubleheader. And the first game is the next game up, which Kenny Albert will be on the call for the TNT.
Yeah, that's the Rangers and the Flyers.
That's right.
Both teams coming off losses yesterday. The Rangers had a chance to jump into a tie for the top spot in the Metropolitan Division, but they fell to the Hurricanes. The Flyers, I don't know if they even bothered to get on the plane because they were completely obliterated by the Washington Capitals by the narrow margin of 9-2.
Yeah.
So rough night for the Flyers. Of course, the Flyers have been eliminated from playoff contention, so they're basically playing for nothing. And it showed last night. Meanwhile, you figure they're probably not going to be a whole lot better tonight facing a Rangers team that is still trying to, hang on to the second seed so they can at least get home ice advantage in the opening round of the playoffs. They're now 4 points behind Carolina for the division lead. But you look, and it's going to be Alexander Georgiev, 12-9-2 with a 303 goals against, an 894 save percentage, and 1 shutout. Taking on Martin Jones, 10-15-3 with a 349 goals against and an 899 save percentage. Jones hasn't been good all season. It's hard to think that after last night's debacle with the way the Flyers looked. I mean, that game was, 7-1 after 2 periods, something like that. And I figured, you could have turned the lights out after 20 minutes. But apparently they wanted to make it even worse because that's typical Philadelphia hockey. Oh, I'm sorry. It was 5-1 after 2 periods. So it was 7-1 6 minutes into the third. Yeah, I don't think the Flyers showed up. I don't think they're going to show up tonight. They got outshot 37-21 in that game. They did win penalty minutes, so kudos for that. The Flyers 28 in goals for, though, at 259. They're 27th in goals against. The Rangers 6-1 in their last 7 on the road, 20-6 in their last 26 against an opponent that scored 2 or less in their last game, 45-16 in their last 61 as a favorite. The Flyers just 6-21 in their last 27 after giving up 5 goals or more in their last game. And just to be equal opportunity, guys, they're 5-23 in their last 28 after scoring 2 or less. Basically, like Ryan said, hashtag fade the Flyers. They're basically the Lakers in the National Hockey League. There's no reason to like Philadelphia here. I know it's a divisional game. I know it's a geographical rivalry game. But let's face it, the Flyers have just been putrid this season. And I don't see it getting a whole lot better after their no-show last night.
So basically, the Mets and the Phillies are playing each other, and so are the Rangers and the Flyers. So it's a good night to be in, of rivalries. You've got those two in baseball and in hockey playing against each other. As we go to the NBA story in The Athletic this morning, surprise, surprise. Not that LeBron James wanted Frank Vogel gone, but it looks like he's pushing again for about the 34th time for Mark Jackson to be the next head coach.
I'm surprised he's not just pushing for himself to be the player coach.
That's coming soon. But then he would have to take responsibility. So no, he doesn't want any part of that. So
then he would just try to get him to trade some of the players, and so that way it wouldn't be his fault.
And Westbrook was kind of funny. He said, "I didn't get him fired." He goes, "My play might have gotten him fired, but I personally did not get him fired." So it's like, okay, well, you're probably close to true on that one. So, all right, we got some playoff games.
Quick look around the baseball scoreboard real quick before we go to the NBA. Washington is now up 3-0 in the bottom of the 6th, and you were right; they did pull Kyle Finnegan in now for the Braves or for the Nationals on the mound. The Mets 2, the Phillies 0 in the top of the 4th. New York has a pair of runners on. That's Max Scherzer and Aaron Nola on the mound for those two teams. So a couple of good pitchers. In the bottom of the 3rd, the Guardians 3, the Reds 0. Nobody really excited about that game other than people that live in Ohio. The Red Sox and the Tigers tied at 1 in the 4th. Looks like Eovaldi was on the mound for Boston. Detroit countered with ex-Red Sox Eduardo Rodriguez. The Red Sox currently have runners on 2nd and 3rd with 1 out. The Dodgers 3, the Twins 0 in the 5th. And, of course, the Pirates, we talked about yesterday how we thought they might rough up Drew Smyly. They didn't. Instead, they waited till today to rough up Kyle Hendricks. The Pirates 6, the Cubs 2 in the bottom of the 5th at PNC Park.
There you go. So, well done. Flash King gives us those news flashes every few minutes with the scoreboard.
Yep, Boston just went up 2-1 on a sac fly by Alex Verdugo, and Finnegan just gave up a solo homer to Austin Riley. So it's now Washington 3, Atlanta 1 in the bottom of the 6th.
Oops. Finnegan can
they
throw
did it again. Finnegan's wake.
Finnegan, right? Finnegan's been a pretty decent little pitcher there, but he does have problems with the home run ball at times. So there you go. All right, so let's go to the hardwood and to the NBA, where the association has some playoff ramifications going on tonight. And these games can be seen, both games, doubleheader ESPN. So hockey's on TNT tonight, folks, and ESPN's got the basketball.
And baseball's on pretty much every other channel.
Yeah. Baseball's on the MLB network, which has the Braves and the Nationals, and the alternate game is, hang on a second, I'll tell you what the alternate game is.
Probably a better game than the Braves and the Nationals.
The alternate game is the Red Sox and Tigers.
There you go. So a more entertaining game than the Braves and the Nationals, because I'm tired of seeing the Atlanta Braves on TV.
Yeah, what a shock. The Braves on television. Yes.
Pretty much.
So here we go.
Ryan said he can't wait for LeBron. He can't wait for LeBron to go away and retire and go away.
Yeah. San Diego and San Francisco, or Houston versus Arizona, is the 3:30 game on MLB Network. So
now there was a lot of controversy in that San Diego-San Francisco game last night, Jim. I don't know if you saw anything about it. Apparently Mike Schilt, former Cardinals manager, he is now a coach for the Padres, ran his mouth and caused a bit of a stir in San Francisco yesterday.
Yeah, he did. That was a very entertaining and interesting situation, too.
Yeah, it led to some history, too, because, then you had...
new first base coach is a young lady who is...
Alyssa Nacken.
Yeah. It was funny, the players actually, when they got to first base from the... every player who got to first base, shook the hand of the, of the new first base coach. So it was a a very interesting and entertaining evening from that standpoint. And that's good to see. I mean, you've got a manager who's now managing in the Florida State League for the Tampa Tarpons, which is the Yankees Florida State League team. And now, we've got as you say, Mrs. Knack at first base coaching for the Giants. And she was even wearing that fog uniform that they have, which I still can't figure out who came up with that idea.
These City Connect uniforms are weird. I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah, the one the Nationals have is over the weekend. It has the WSH across it's gray-ish. It's got WSH across the chest, and it's got cherry blossoms around it, and it's a cool uniform. It's interesting, and then it's got the old gray and white hat, which was more of the Washington Senators. So, little bit of a throwback. Although they did steal it from the Capitals. So,
let's give some credit to Sean Higgs when he was on yesterday. He said that Yu Darvish struggled last year against the Giants, and boy. Mm-hmm. Darvish came off that 6 no-hit inning game against Arizona in the opener, and he got absolutely lit up yesterday.
Yes, he did.
9 runs on 8 hits with a pair of walks and 2 strikeouts in an inning and 2/3. That game was over before it started. He also hit a guy, so, I mean, kudos for that.
And it looked like they're playing T-ball. It's like, put
it
on the tee and hit it.
It was 6-0 after an inning, and I was like, well, so much for that.
Yeah.
Didn't bother looking.
Don't waste any more time on that one.
Yeah, it was time to change the channel on the old MLB network or MLB TV there because that was just brutal when you got right down to it. It's like, wow, glad I didn't waste time watching that.
Speaking of wasting time, here's the Hawks and the Hornets playing each other tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting matchup here. Both teams were 43 and 39, so how about that? Kind of like yesterday when the Cavs
has
and the
the
Nets.
Good Bogdanovich, though.
That's true. Kind of like the Cavs and the Nets.
Yeah, exactly.
They were both 44 and 38 going into yesterday. So, Charlotte 21 and 20 on the road. The Hawks 27 and 14 at home. Both teams are good offensively, and they're both bad defensively. So this is going to be interesting. They split their 4 games in the regular season. The Hornets 4th in scoring offense, 115.3. They're 11th in field goal percentage, 46.8. They're 6th in three-point shooting. The Hawks are 6th in offense at 113.9, 7th in field goal percentage at 47%. They're 2nd in three-point shooting. Like we said, both teams bad defensively. Atlanta slightly less bad. 21st in scoring defense at 112.4, 23rd in field goal percentage defense at 47.1, 25th in three-point defense. The Hornets 25th in scoring defense at 114.9. That's Tim's homer bias because he's from North Carolina and he has to root for somebody from the state since, he won't root for the Hurricanes. The Hornets 20th field goal percentage defense, 23rd in three-point defense. Atlanta 6-0 in their last 6 as a favorite, a far cry from earlier in the season when they couldn't cover anything. They're 9-0 against the spread in their last 9 at home against teams with a winning road record. They're 4-0 in their last 4 at home, 7-2 against the spread in their last 9 overall. Quick look at the injury report shows Gordon Hayward, he played, 1 game down the stretch? Might have played 2. He's out. Won't be back until late April if they get that far. Meanwhile, for the Hawks, you won't see John Collins, who's been out since March with that sprained ring finger and a foot strain. Also, Lou Williams, who, I remember when Lou Williams was a good 6th man. And then, he's gone to Atlanta and basically done nothing over the last couple of years. He's basically become a good 10th or 11th guy, sitting at the end of the bench next to the water boy.
He looks good in the team picture.
There you go, because he hasn't done jack. When you get right down to it, you look at how far his numbers have dropped, and it's quite jarring when you look at what he did. I mean, I get the fact that, he's 35.
Right.
But, I mean, he averages 13.9 points a game in his career, and you look, he averaged just 2 years ago, he averaged 18 points a game. playing for the Clippers. The year before that was 20. Then, he went to Atlanta down the stretch last year. He averaged 10 points a game after getting traded. And this year he averaged 6.3.
Yeah, I got better knees than he does, though. That's a problem.
His field goal shooting dropped off a cliff. He shot 39.1% from the floor. I don't know. It's concerning. I'm guessing he probably won't be a factor in the lineup next season. I don't know if his contract runs through next year or not. No, apparently he'll be a free agent.
Well, Tim wants us to know he's not a Charlotte fan. He's a Nuggets fan. So
that's right. I know Tim's a Nuggets fan.
Good to know, Tim. We want to make sure that we get it right for you, buddy.
I did forget that he got his Jamal Murray jersey signed.
Well, that's nice.
When the Nuggets were in town a couple weeks ago.
Well, there you go. That's nice.
Yeah, too bad Murray hasn't played all season. But, speaking of Tim, any word as to whether Murray's going to show up in the postseason or Porter Jr., or are both those guys going to miss out?
I haven't heard anything about that.
Well, I mean, I know Murray was rehabbing, but I wasn't sure about Porter Jr. I know they were talking about, he could be back in March, then it was going to be April, and then I hadn't heard anything. So I thought maybe, since Tim's a Nuggets fan, he might have heard something that I might have missed.
You talking about Otto Porter Jr.?
No, Michael Porter Jr. for the Nuggets.
Yeah, okay.
Nobody likes Otto Porter. Even my son didn't like Otto Porter when he played for Chicago when Washington traded him. Of course, now he's in Golden State. Riding the gravy train over there. I know
this just in from Tim Merle. Thank you, Timmy.
Porter Jr. So they are going to miss the postseason. Okay, I was unaware of that. I thought the expectation was Murray was going to be back at some point. Porter Jr., I know the back is a fickle thing when you have surgery on it, so I wasn't sure about him, but I appreciate the information, Tim.
Trevon H. says Atlanta's about to smack them boys up, so he's on your side there, Christopher.
Well, I hope so. I mean, granted, it's not like I have a great affinity for either one of these teams. I just think that as long as Atlanta, plays some semblance
one
of
them has
defense,
to win. Yes.
Yeah, as long as they play some semblance of perimeter defense and don't let, Oubre and all those guys shoot uncontested threes like it's practice, they should be okay, especially playing at home and with Trae Young. We saw what Trae Young could do in the playoffs last year when he carved up the Knicks. I look for them to extend their season one more game. Of course, the winner of this one will face Cleveland on Friday for the right to be the 8th seed and face the Miami Heat.
There you go. All right, from Atlanta and Charlotte, we go out west.
Well, we don't get to go too far. We get to go to the Big Easy.
Well, it's
west of Atlanta.
It's west of Atlanta by about 250 miles. So, okay, we got that.
Yeah, so we got the Pels and the Spurs. Before we, sink anybody, let's give kudos to the Pelicans. They started the year, 1-12 or something like that. And they made the postseason, so there's that. I mean, I know they won't necessarily make any noise from here, but they made it there, so kudos to them.
That they're playing well because George Shinn is trying to angle for another new building. So
how many new buildings does this guy need?
I don't know. They've built 3 of them for him. One in Charlotte and one down here, and then there's a second building that they've gotten that they've been playing basketball in. So I don't know where he wants to play, but it's the Pelicans playing in what I thought was a pretty nice arena. I guess he does not agree. So this is the night that Pop's team decides to exit stage right. Is that what we're looking at?
That's my thought process. I know the Spurs, they're happy to be here, mainly because the Lakers.
They want a participation trophy.
Yeah, mainly because the Lakers, fell apart. And, we've talked about that quite a bit over the past few weeks.
Yeah.
Spurs are 8th in scoring offense, 113.2, 14th field goal percentage, 18th in three-point shooting. New Orleans is decent defensively. They're 13th in the league in scoring defense. They give up a high percentage from the floor, though, 47.1%. They're below average offensively. New Orleans 21st, 109.3 points a game. 23rd in field goal percentage defense, or offense, I should say, and 27th in three-point shooting. It's strange that they're 27th in three-point shooting despite having C.J. McCollum now. I figured their number would have gone up some, but he can only do so much. Meanwhile, Pop's team, you expect them to play defense. They don't. 23rd in scoring defense at 113 points a game. 19th field goal percentage defense, 20th in three-point defense. Pop's team likes to run, and that's something that we've talked about before. That's not really their bag. You don't expect San Antonio to be a top 5 team in the league in tempo like they are, averaging 100 possessions a night. It's not really what you want to see out of them, really. Injury report shows Doug McDermott out. They say he could be done for the rest of the year. I don't know if that counts if they make it to the postseason, an actual 7-game series or not. He's out with an ankle sprain. Romeo Langford probable. Meanwhile, for New Orleans, Kira Lewis is out. He's been out since December with that knee injury. Zion, everybody talked about how he was going to come back and play. Well, guess what? He's still out. So he's played a grand total of 0 games. So kudos to him for getting paid for playing 0 games. Puts him up there with John Wall and Kawhi Leonard and all those other guys getting a whole bunch of money for doing nothing.
James wants to know if it's wise to go to the Spurs in the first quarter.
Boy, that's
they aren't bad getting up. They start okay, but problem is they're ending. Because Chris, you said that they, tempo is something, but they don't have the talent to play tempo.
No, I mean, granted, they got some young guys. They got DeJounte Murray and Keldon Johnson and those guys, but they're not a team that you want to see run and gun. I mean, like we said, we've talked about it all season long. If you look back in tempo for Spurs teams under Popovich, last year they were middle of the road. They were 15th. The year before they were 14th in tempo. Then they were 22nd. Then they were 28th. Then they were 27th. In 2015-16, they were 24th. They were 17th. 2013-14, they were 10th. You have to go all the way back to 2012 to see a team that was nearly ranked as high as this team is in pace when they were 6th. But here's the difference. That 2012-13 Spurs team that was 6th in tempo averaged 94.2 possessions a game. This year's team averages 100.
Hey.
That's not Pop style. It never has been. I mean, you look back at some of these numbers, 91 possessions a game. In 2008-09, they averaged 88.4, 88.8, 89.8, 88.5, 88.9, 89.2, 90 in 2002-03 when they won the finals over the Nets. So you're talking about, 6-7 straight seasons where they're averaging 90 possessions or less, and now you're running at 100 possession a game clip. That's not – the Spurs aren't a track meet type of team. They're a team that plays good half-court defense. They like to run the screen and rolls and things like that. It worked for so long with Duncan. I think they could probably play the same kind of style with Podol. I mean, he's not as effective of a shooter as Duncan, but he can crash the glass and stuff too. I don't get where Popovich is going unless this is like saying, okay, well, screw you guys, I'm done after this season because I mean, what's he got left to do? He already owns the wins record. He's got rings. What does he have left to accomplish in San Antonio?
This just in. Kershaw has thrown a perfect game through 5 innings.
Well, I mean, he's facing the Twins.
They're on scholarship though. They're still.
Oh, that's true. I mean, I will grant you that.
So we got Clayton Kershaw throwing a perfect game through 5. Trust me when I tell you, he will not be there much longer. They would. He's
only thrown 54 pitches.
54 through what? Through 5?
Through 5. And the weird part is he's only thrown 54 pitches and he's got 9 strikeouts.
Okay, but he's okay. They're in the top of the 6th. Okay, 3-0. Maybe he will. Let's see. We'll keep an
The
eye on
sad part
it.
is that the Dodgers only have 3 runs because they're 2 for 11 with runners in scoring position.
Yeah, they were bad the other day in Colorado with getting guys home.
That's true.
Anyway, all right, let's go to two for the money.
Yeah, and we talked about the hockey games already. We talked about Colorado over the Kings. The Kings are tired. They're playing the second game of a back-to-back here.
The Brew Crew.
Colorado's rested. They're at home. I just don't have a ton of faith in the Kings here. And then we talked about the Rangers, and the Flyers have basically given up. You have to think that they're done at this point. The Rangers need this win to keep pressure on Carolina and the Metropolitan and to distance themselves a bit from Pittsburgh and Washington, who are battling for the 3rd seed now at the moment in the division. I think the Rangers should take care of business rather comfortably here. Then we go with the Brewers over the Orioles. Hey, look, Milwaukee won a game yesterday.
Corbin Burns and John Means. Burns for the Brew Crew and John Means for the Birds.
Yeah, I'd like to think that Burns can bounce back from the way he pitched at Wrigley. Means he pitched well against Tampa Bay in that, what was it, a 2-1 game or whatever.
Yeah, it was 2-1 they lost.
I'm not convinced that Baltimore can put up enough runs in that contest there. And then we've got we talked about Atlanta and Charlotte. I just don't have a ton of faith in the Hornets. I don't like them. I didn't like them before. I like them less now. I think Trae Young will probably go for 30 or 35 and 12 assists or something like that, and he'll carry Atlanta on his back to the. I mean, what do you call the second play-in game for the losers? Do we call it the toilet bowl or what? I mean, because let's face it.
I mean, this is really play-in 1. Play-in 2 is the next one. So it's amazing. Nathan likes the Orioles for the first 5. That may not be bad, Nathan, but
the tough part is though you're banking on the Orioles to put up runs on Burns,
or the other way, you're looking at Means keeping the Brewers from scoring.
Yeah, which is possible because Milwaukee has looked all that great when it comes to hitting so far this season.
And the weather's not going to be too bad tonight in Baltimore, so it's not going to be brutally cold or anything like that. So I don't know. It's intriguing. The first 2 games of that series has gone very strange. So it's hard to project what's going on tonight. But anyway. 4 for the show.
Yeah, we talked about New Orleans. I think they'll get the better of San Antonio. I know Popovich is probably going to keep running. The problem is they don't stop anybody on defense. So the problem when you miss a shot and you run at that pace is you give up a lot of transition buckets. That's not something you want to do with a team like New Orleans because you've got McCollum out there. Inside, you've got Valanciunas and Ingram. Those guys can do damage in a hurry. And San Antonio, the last thing San Antonio wants is this for to be a 125, 122 type of game. I just think New Orleans playing at home is the better team in that one. We talked about the White Sox. I can't trust Dallas Keuchel. You have to think that Robbie Ray will keep Seattle in it as long as the bats can do something, which we know they haven't of late. You have to think that Seattle can pull one out in the Windy City. I continue to ride Tampa Bay. Of course, they got blown out on Monday night, and then last night they won 9-8 in 10 innings.
Yeah, they won in extra innings.
In a game where 2 guys that nobody ever heard of started on the mound. I know Romero struggled. I know Aller lasted an inning and a third or an inning and 2/3, and then he was gone. So Shane McClanahan and Frankie Montas, I think.
Frankie Montas,
Oakland, provided he's not traded before the game because there were rumors that he was going to be traded to, Philadelphia or something.
Yeah.
And then Houston over Arizona. I like the way Valdez pitching his first start. Kelly pitched decent in his first outing, but Arizona doesn't score a lot of runs, and that's Could be
Daryl
problem
wants to
then.
know what you think about the Spurs and the Hawks game from a standpoint of going over.
Got it down below in the menu.
Okay. Hang on, Daryl. We're about to get to it.
Yeah, the A's have a good farm system for pitching, but they traded away all their hitters. I mean, after they traded Olsen and Chapman and they traded Manea, and, Montas is probably going to be next. You have to think, I saw that in the Fangraphs projection for win projections, the A's dropped 10 wins off their projection after they made all those trades. Well, you're in good shape with the Red Sox, Daryl, because they're up 7-1 now in the fourth. As long as Eovaldi and the bullpen hold up, you should be in good shape there. You have to look at the Yankees. I actually think they'll beat Toronto tonight. I don't have a ton of faith in Jose Barrios after his first outing. I'm sure he'll bounce back. I just don't know if he'll bounce back tonight. And obviously, I'm on the Astros here, so you should be in good shape, hopefully.
Yeah, Daryl's got a good deal going. All right, so time to go for the menu, as you said before, and the shot in the dark. And as we tell you all the time, it's pick any 2, 4, 6, 8, 9, 10.
The fun part was, had you just paid attention to the hockey part of the menu yesterday, where we had, hold on, I'll pull up my own copy of the menu because I haven't. Imagine that. I have a copy of it on my own computer.
How about that?
In the hockey part of the menu yesterday, we gave you the Kings over the Blackhawks. The puck line was plus 175. We gave you the Wild over the Oilers. The puck line was plus 180. We gave you the Devils over the Coyotes, and the puck line there was plus 170. And we gave you the Senators straight up on the money line over the Red Wings at plus 105. And you just played those 4 games alone, it would have turned $100 into over $4,000. I know because I did the math earlier.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, the Kings won 5-2, the Wild won 5-1, the Devils won 6-2, and Ottawa down Detroit 4-1. Now, the rest of the board may have sucked, but that's not my fault because some of those games didn't turn out the way that we expected. But looking at tonight's board here, I look for the Mariners and the White Sox to go under 9. Seattle's gone under the total in 4 of their 5 games this year. We only saw 5 runs on the board yesterday. I mean, the Mariners might get to Keuchel for a few. I just don't see it getting to the point where it's going to be, 6-4 or anything like that. I'm going to go with the Giants over the Padres. That game is supposed to be, Logan Webb for the Giants against Sean Manaea for the White Sox. Or not the White Sox, sorry, the Padres. Manaea pitched well in his debut. I'll give him that. But does anybody have a ton of faith in the Padres' bats right now after the way they got shellacked yesterday? I personally do not, and that's why I'm going to go with the Giants in a low-scoring matchup there. I like the Yankees over the Blue Jays. I mean, we saw Barrios get torched by Texas in his opener. He has an ERA of 108 right now. Now, Garrett Cole had his struggles early against Boston on opening day where he gave up 3 in the top of the first. I expect that the Yankees will claw out a win in that one. I also look for it to stay under 8. I don't think that this is going to be a high-scoring game. You look at the first 2 games in that series, and they've been low-scoring ones because, Toronto won, 3-0 on Monday night?
Yeah.
On Tuesday night, the Yankees won 4-0. So 7 runs combined in 2 games. 8 seems like it could be a stretch.
Daryl, Liverpool.
Yeah, Jim, I defer to you on this.
Yeah, Liverpool and Man City to both win. Yeah, I think you're in good shape there, Daryl. I don't know I don't have any line figures on it, but they should win. Both those teams are good enough to pull through.
Man City's playing Atletico Madrid.
Right. And who's Liverpool's playing an Italian team, I think.
Benfica.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're safe for the 2 Premier League teams to move through the Champions League today.
Yeah, I see they're up 3-1 in aggregate scoring from the first leg. So what's interesting is in the FA Cup on Saturday, those two teams will play each other, Man City and Liverpool.
Yeah.
And that extends my massive knowledge of the sport of soccer.
There you go. We're getting Sean Miller starting next week. We'll have soccer 4 to 5 every day. So there you go. This just in from our buddy Ryan Page and Super Slide with Portuguese. Okay. I think. And Kershaw, perfect through 6.
And he's now up to 69. He struck out the side in the 6th. So he's got 12 strikeouts. He's only thrown 69 pitches. So the Twins must just want to get the hell out of there. I don't know what the weather is in Minneapolis this afternoon.
It's ever warm.
Because, you're talking about he threw 15 pitches and struck. Okay, it's 36 degrees in Minneapolis right now. So they must just be going up there and, hacking at anything so they can get back to the dugout and warm up, because 69 pitches and you fan 12 guys. That's impressive.
It's not contact.
Yeah.
That's Kershaw. That's Kershaw 5 years ago.
Yeah. I'm going to look for – Daryl was asking about the NBA. I look for Charlotte and Atlanta to go under 234.5. If you look at the recent totals for those teams, just take a quick look here so I don't misquote myself. Atlanta had 4 straight unders before beating Houston in the finale. 6 of the last 7 meetings between these teams have ended up under the total. The lone exception was a 130-127 Charlotte win back on December 5th. I just look for this one to be a little bit better defensively and keep things in check. I'm also looking for the Spurs and the Pelicans to stay under 224.5. I know three of the 4 meetings this year. Let's see, what were the totals in these games? In the meetings this year, we saw the teams combined for 209, 238, 215, and 210. 7 of the last 8 of the last 10 meetings between the teams have stayed under the number. I don't expect anything to change here. On the ice, Columbus over Montreal, straight up. I think the Blue Jackets should get the upper hand. It's supposed to be Samuel Montembeault for the Canadians because Jake Allen apparently done for the year with a groin injury. Columbus, Elvis Merzlikins in net. I also look for that to go over the total. I think that one's going to be, like I said, over the mark. It should be an interesting matchup. And then the Rangers and the Flyers, come on. The Flyers gave up 9 yesterday. It's kind of hard to have a ton of excitement in this one. Look for the Rangers to put up at least 4 or 5 and push that one over the total. And I look for the Kings and the Avs to stay under 6.
What do you think of Andrew? Andrew's got Man City, which is not bad. It's on the money line. He's got over Detroit and the Mets on the money line.
Well, Detroit and Boston, they're at 8 right now in the 5th. So all you need is for them to put another run on the board somewhere.
Yeah, they got plenty of time to do that.
And the Mets are up 3-1 in the 5th.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to the top of the 5th now.
And he's got the money line there too.
Yeah, so
he seems to be in good shape.
Yeah.
So there you go. And we got one more quickie. What do you think about the Astros, Mariners, Avalanche, Rangers? Well, you're heavy on both of those.
Yeah, I had the Avs and the Rangers as a 2-teamer. I like the Astros. The only one that I'm worried about is Seattle, but I think that Ray has a better matchup than Keuchel does. So I think that the Mariners should get the win over the White Sox.
And he likes the under on the Pelicans.
Yeah, I think that the under is probably the safe way to go. Like we said, 7 out of the last 8 out of 10.
Yeah. So, boys and girls, any final questions here? A couple quick things to get to. Number one, we still are giving away that free book on baseball. All you have to do is go to show box below. It's a really cool book. It gives you all kinds of interesting information on all the teams, and it's very, very helpful. So by all means, take a look at that. Also, while you're down there, if you want to get Chris's parlays, you can do that. They'll send them to your email box every day. All you have to do is read the information and fill out the form in the show box below. So, and while you're down there, check out the good stuff from both DraftKings and, of course, Caesars, our two wonderful sponsors. Before you get out of here, by the way, folks, also hit that like button, subscribe, and please hit the bell, because that way it'll let you know when we are doing stuff all the time. Ryan Page is thinking of doing the Astros, Mariners, Rangers, and we got another one here, Chris. Oh wait,
Yeah,
we look at
here's
that one.
this playoff hoops.
Yep, we're good there. So, boys and girls, any thoughts, Chris, on what you might be watching tonight?
Well, I'll probably check out the Rangers game for a while until they inevitably blow Philadelphia out, and then I'll probably turn on the NBA playoffs. Since, like we said, almost all the baseball games started early, so it makes it kind of tough to watch any good games tonight. I mean, the Rays play at 6:40, and then you've got Milwaukee, Baltimore at 7:05. The Yankees and the Blue Jays are at 7:05, and then the White Sox and Mariners are at 7:10. So, not a ton of baseball to choose from tonight. Not a ton of hockey. Sly, I hope you guys stay warm and keep your power and all that stuff. I know how much fun it is to deal with massive amounts of snow. My favorite story when it comes to snow is talking about how on Christmas Eve of 2001, we went to bed and there was about 3 inches of snow, and we woke up the next morning and there were 7 feet. Trying to drive down the New York State Thruway in a snowstorm when you have to roll down your window and stick your head out to try to see because the wipers can't keep up with the snow.
Right.
Makes for entertaining times. But definitely stay safe out there. And hopefully this will pass through relatively quickly and you guys can get back to some better weather.
Great. And thanks to Andrew and Ryan and Nathan and James and the entire gang who showed up today. We greatly appreciate it. And show up tomorrow because we're going to have some fun stuff going on with you tomorrow. So,
and just remember, guys, there's no NBA tomorrow. You have to wait till Friday for the rest of the Crapathon tournament to determine who will end up playing as the 8 seeds. And
if you want to, Chris, because I know you like to do it, you want to run through the scoreboard one last time before we leave, that's fine.
All right. At the end of 8 innings in Atlanta, the Nationals hold a 3-1 lead. So they're going to go to the 9th with an advantage. They're in the middle of the 7th now. The Dodgers 3, the Twins nothing. So we'll see Clayton Kershaw come out and probably strike out another 55 guys before the game's over. Top of the 5th, the Mets 3, the Phillies 1. The Mets have Francisco Lindor on second with 2 outs, Pete Alonso at the dish. Let's see. The Red Sox lead 7-1 in the halfway home in the Motor City. Cleveland now up 6-0. The extra point was blocked over the Reds in the bottom of the 5th. And unfortunately, at PNC Park in the top of the 8th, the Pirates lead the Cubs 6-2. But hey, at least the Cubs won yesterday. Seiya Suzuki with his first multi-homer game yesterday, as he accounted for both runs in a 2-1 victory for the Cubs at PNC Park.
There you go. All right, everybody. Thanks for dropping by. Any final questions we got out there that we haven't answered, Chris? You see anything?
No, I think we got everything.
Okay, cool. All right, guys. Thanks very much for joining us. Remember, everything starts at noon with, our midday money show with Sean Higgs, who dropped by yesterday. We always appreciate it. And Tim's there, Timmy Earl. He comes by here. We'll have to have him drop by when he's here. Then it's Allie Burns.
Nick never drops by because he's in class.
Right, exactly. It's the old Rodney Dangerfield, call me when you don't have any class. Anyway, there's Allie Burns, who does have class. She's on at 1. We follow her at 2. Then Scott and Scott come up at 3. And then Lenny, Tim, and the aforementioned Nick show up at 5. And starting next week, as I said before, if you're a soccer fan, you're going to have one of the best in Sean Miller, who is at he's at the game in Manchester today. So he's writing the story for a number of New Jersey newspapers. And so you can just Google Sean Miller soccer, and you'll be able to read his reports from Manchester, where he's covering the Champions League. All right. So that's coming up on the Max Wagers Network, everybody. Okay. So have a great day. It's been a lot of fun, and we will see you tomorrow, 2 p.m.
Well, Kershaw's got another strikeout.
Okay. He's getting there. All right. So I'm going to get off so that we can all jump on and see what's going on with Clayton. All right, boys and girls. Have a great day. Chris, thanks, buddy, and we'll see you tomorrow.
Sounds good.